this video, we are going to see about encoders. Encoding is nothing but it is a process of getting inputs and converting those inputs into an equally coded form, right? So the device that is used for this purpose is called an encoder. Basically, an encoder is a reverse of a decoder. So decoders, we'll be seeing about decoders in coming videos. So encoders will be having 2 power n number of inputs and n number of outputs. For example, if your encoder is having 8 inputs, right, that 8 can be converted into 2 power 3. So in the place of n you have 3. So if there are 8 inputs, there has to be 3 outputs, right? So this is how we design the input output for encoders. And in this video, we are going to see about priority encoders in specific. So priority encoders, right? Priority encoders. You can draw the block diagram of priority encoders. It's very simple to understand, and can draw something like this, a big rectangle. And as I told you, if there are 4 inputs, for example, this is input 2, and this is input 3, and this is input 4. So there are 2 power n inputs and n number of outputs. So 4 inputs are there. 4 means 2 power 2. So in the place of n, we can put 2. So we'll be having 2 outputs. So this is output through outputs, and this is input 1, this is input 2, I1, I2, and the last one will be I3, and this is output 1, and this can be output 2. So these are inputs and these two are the outputs. So these are 2 power n inputs and these are n outputs, right? And this is, you call it a 4 cross 2 encoder, right? 4 cross 2 encoder. Now how this thing works, so we'll just write the truth table for this. The truth table for this, right? So what are the inputs you have? You have I naught. In the first place you have I naught and I1, I2, and I3, and the outputs are, you can see the color for the outputs, O1 and O2. So in the first stage, for example, this I naught is carrying the data 0 0, right? The I1 is going to carry the data 0 1, and I2 is carrying the data 1 0, and this is carrying data 1 1. So if you enable I1 to carry a data, right, so I1 will be enabled, the rest of the other lines I1, I2 and I3 won't be carrying any data, so we can simply put don't care terms here, right? So the I1 is carrying the data 0 0. The 0 0 will be carried to O1 and O2 like this, right? So here you can see, can put 0 0 in O1 and O2. I can draw a line to differentiate this, right? And yes, so in the second stage you can see I1 can be enabled, and you can ignore I0, I2 and I3. So coming back to the block diagram, you can see I1 is carrying the data called 0 1, right? Now all the other lines can be considered as don't care terms. So I0, I1 and I2, I1 will be carrying this 0 1, that will be transmitted to O1 and O2. Now O1 will be carrying 0 and O2 will be carrying 1, right? That is here shown here. So O1 is 0 and O2 is carrying 1, right? So similarly, you can, in the third stage, you can ignore I1, I2, and you can enable I1. I mean, sorry, I2, right? And I3 is still don't care. So what is the data that is being carried by I2? You can see this block diagram, right? I2 is carrying 10, right? This 10 I'm circling here. That 10 will be carried by I0 and I1. So I1 will be carrying this 1, and the 0 will be carried by O2, and O1 will be carrying 1 and O2 will be carrying 0, right? And can simply put don't care for the other terms, and now I3 is enabled, right? I3 is carrying the data called 1 1, right? That 1 1 is being transmitted to the output lines. The output lines O1 will be carrying 1 and O2 will be carrying 1. So can come back to this, right? So the priority encoder, the difference between the other encoders and priority encoders is that when one of the lines is carrying data, the other lines will not be interrupting, right? You can see this from the truth table. If I0 is carrying a data, right, so you don't care what the other lines are carrying, so you can simply put don't care for the other lines, right? So if you even if you take the third, the second, or any of this from the truth table, you can find this, right? If I2 is carrying data, right, so you don't care about the I0, I1 and I3, right? So you are just giving priority to the line that is being enabled to read the data, right? So this is about priority encoders, and in the next video we'll be seeing about decoders. So how decoders work, and I told you in the beginning that encoders are nothing but the reverse of decoders. So we'll discuss more about decoders, very interesting, and we'll just combine an encoder and decoder and find out what is happening, right? That will be the third video. So thanks for watching, and if you have any comments or if you need anything, you can put it in the comments box, or you can simply send an email to us. Thank you.